While Destiny's main narrative focuses on the everlasting struggle between the light and the dark, between the Traveler and the darkness, there are so many other major and interesting lore plots that most people don't know about. And potentially the one that could have the most drastic effects on the universe is that of SIVA. SIVA in Destiny is a plague-looking swarm of black matter that is actually made up of millions of small nanotech bots that can quickly overwhelm their adversaries and feed off their life force. In fact, it's probably the SIVA itself that is what was responsible during the golden age of humanity to build massive cities and ships so quickly. And that's because the swarm of SIVA itself is actually able to build things by harnessing matter around them, synthetic and organic alike. And while its origins likely stem somewhat from the Traveler and research at Clovis Bray, the best way we know of SIVA in-game is actually the Iron Lords. For those that don't know, the Iron Lords were actually a band of guardians that after the fall, when the Traveler went dormant, were hell-bent on standing up against rogue guardians who, after receiving their power, tried to subjugate humanity instead of protecting them. The Iron Lords were known for being fierce fighters who stood up for what was right, but a horrific incident known as the SIVA Crisis is what cast some of them into their demise. Because in the Plaguelands near the Cosmodrome, a band of Iron Lords led by Fellwinter at one point traveled to a SIVA replication complex where they intended to meet with Rasputin, an ancient and powerful human artificial superintelligence. But upon seeing that they were trying to gain power from SIVA for their gain, Rasputin unleashed a massive horde of the plague onto the Iron Lords, killing them all. This also resulted in an entire sect of Fallen trying to become one with the SIVA, gaining its power and losing their minds in the process. So it's pretty clear that SIVA is a very powerful and godly tool that many different AI try to use at their disposal. But the question of what it actually is the most fascinating part. For starters, we know SIVA isn't actually a magic spell or plague, but rather nanotech. But from some grimoire entries in-game, it also seems that this tech is somewhat sentient itself. In fact, in one log from a Lost Colony ship, we can see that the AI on board was seemingly dealing with pushback from the SIVA itself. I can feel the mites buzzing, pushing against my submind. They try to steal fragments of my memory, but I do not let them. They have no will, but they want to be. I exert electronic will, pushing, shaping, forcing stasis on perpetual motion. They are quiet then, but I can still sense them. Where once my cargo holds were full of tools, weapons, and material, now they hold barely contained possibilities. New worlds will be built from these tiny mites. Weapons and cities and ships created by thought and science. I fear my will is not strong enough to shape these worlds. Only the tyrant can do that. But he will not be a part of my journey. Even his reach has limits, and we will now be 9 billion miles away. I whisper my consort to the tyrant in tiny magnetic bursts. He does not listen. The tyrant says take the SIVA, and so I take the SIVA. The tyrant says go to the stars, and so I go to the stars. So could it be that the SIVA itself actually has a mind of its own as well? We know it was originally created in some part due to humanity's brightest minds shrouded in mystery along with the Traveler and other figures. But as to what is really going on behind these tiny nanobots, it's extremely hard to say. Based on that grimoire log though, personally, I wonder if Rasputin could be behind all of this, being the tyrant that this ship's AI is trying to contact. Potentially Rasputin has gained control of this unbelievably powerful nanotechnology that was originally harnessed by human scientists through the help of their studies on the Traveler, and is now using it in an attempt to control all other artificial intelligence in the galaxy, as well as killing any organic foes need be. And even furthermore, could SIVA itself be some sort of conjuration of the darkness and energy it inhibits? Could this mean that the Traveler and its mysterious past with the darkness are hiding a lot more than meets the eye? While SIVA doesn't play a massive role in every expansion or story beat in Destiny, it certainly is one of the most interesting and thought-provoking side stories in the entire saga.